Today's question is something that we get from so many of our clients. Why do I keep self-sabotaging and it's impacting all of my relationships? Self-sabotage comes from a myriad of different things. Any person that's ever told you something negative in your life, if you file that into your brain and then it gets triggered and triggered and triggered and triggered, eventually you will forget who triggered it or who said what they said because you've so internalized it, and all of a sudden it will become, what is your truth? What is the conversation that you hear in your own head? And because it sounds like your voice most of the time, you believe that it's you talking about yourself, but it's not the case. We have so many environmental impacts, we have so many people's opinions, we have so much marketing feedback that's coming at us. There are so many things that tell you what you're not, how little you are, what your weight should look like, what your face should look like, how you should spend your money, that sometimes we're so bombarded by it and our defenses are so low that we don't know how to counteract it. So one thing to know is that you are not alone, and that this is an epidemic in today's society, that constant desire of comparison and overachievement.
So here's what I'm hearing you say.
Yeah.
So often when someone makes choices that are self-sabotaging, they're hearing a voice in their head that's saying, you should do this, or you shouldn't do this, or this is right, or this doesn't feel good, and then they make a choice and it actually creates the result that's what they don't want versus what they do want. And what you're saying is that those voices that they're listening to may not be the right voices. They may not be the loving voices. They may not be the actual voices that are really guiding them towards what they want. So how do you pay attention to the voices that are serving you rather than all the junky voices that you've collected over time?
That's right. So I want to give you 3 practical tools because I think that'll get you off to a great start. So first is freeform writing. What that entails is waking up in the morning or picking a time during the day where you'll sit down distraction-free, pen to paper writing. You never lift the pen off the paper, you just write, dumping everything that's in your mind that may be a negative criticism, a negative thought, an upset, and you just write it until you get it all out of your head and onto paper. By doing that, it's not playing as a record inside of your mind. So then once you've done that, don't reread it, rip it into a million pieces, throw it away, and complete the action. So many times we start something and don't finish it, then we have an open cycle, and now we're perpetuating that negative self-talk all day long. So this action can really get you onto a great start of letting go of some of those voices in your head.
Yeah, and so the second tip is practice listening to the loving voice in your head. So a lot of people say, Jan, I don't know what to do. I have all of these thoughts. Which is the thought that I listen to? Which is the voice that I listen to? And we always say your authentic self, the voice that really loves you, that you should be listening to, is always kind. So if you have a voice that's telling you that you're not enough, that you need to work harder, and you need to do this, and you're not this, and you're a failure, often those are voices from coaches or parents that were just trying to motivate you in the way that they knew how. And I say get rid of those voices. You can thank them for being there, for trying hard, but the voice that you can really listen to, and this is tip number 2, pay attention to the loving voice in your head.
And tip number 3 is sharing, showing, or practicing gratitude. So you could have a gratitude journal, which a lot of people have these days. There's a 5-minute gratitude journal. There's long gratitude lists that you can make. There's, in the back of planners today, a lot of gratitude opportunities. Or you can say it to someone. At night, Jan and I tend to say what we're grateful for the day, for our kids, or for each other about. So whatever is your practice, make it a practice. The more things you do, accumulated over time, will create a consistent outcome. So how about have some consistency in hearing what you're grateful for in your life so you're attracting more gratitude?
Wonderful. So those are our 3 tips on how to create the habits that remove self-sabotage from your life.
So if this resonated with you, then go ahead and click the like button.
And if you want more relationship tips to support your relationship, click the subscribe button for more Relationship 911.